Traditions and customs are national treasure. Kazakh people observe traditions over many centuries. The Great Steppe is an amulet of the country. You can watch the customs and traditions of the Kazakhs in the Modern Nomads program. The topic of today's program is Asil Mura, significant and large-scaled. It is called Kazakh Ideal Grandmothers. A grandmother is the people's mother, a person full of customs and traditions. For this reason, there are many traditions related to grandmothers. For example, laying the baby into the cradle has been a grandmother's function. The cutting ceremony was also conducted by our grandmothers. Thus, we confidently say that a grandmother is a pastoral school. Secondly, they are the greatest mothers of the future generation. On the third, a grandmother is the precious treasure of the nomadic life. Our grandmothers are people's initiators and source of ideas.
Қазақ отбасында әженің орны ерекше. Әже деген кім деген сұраққа жауап беретін болсақ.
Grandmothers play an important role in Kazakh families. If the question, who is a grandmother, is asked, the reply will be the first mother of any family. Because a grandmother is the host and hostess's mother. The word grandma is given by her grandchildren. Grandmothers are older than mothers of the young generation. Our grandmothers have a big life experience and practice. Kazakh people have a saying about older people. The family which has an aging person has a treasure. Such an example can be the family which has their grandmother, who is believed to be a pastoral mind.
Қарты бар үйдің қазынасы бар деп жатамыз. Соның ішінде әжелер бұлар тәрбиенің кеніші деп атау керек.
In nomadic Kazakh society, every person has his place, responsibility for the nation and future generation. For instance, older men and grandfathers are the symbol of wisdom. As concerns our grannies, they are the symbols of kindness and warmth. There are no better teachers and kind people for future generations than our grandmothers. Because for centuries in the nomadic history, grandmothers were responsible for bringing up the generation and children grew up in their warm hands. For this reason, a granny school is considered to be the best pastoral place in this world.
Әже мектебі туралы айтатын болсақ, бұл әже мектебі бұл әлеуметтік.
As regards to Granny School, it is a social name. This is the name of the social institute. The name was given by the people. We can call it as Granny School or Granny Institute. This is our granny sample, lessons and experiences which they share with the younger generation. It is measured with their life experience. There were plenty of great mothers and grandmothers in our history. One of the most important ones was Ayxanim.
Өте көп, әжелеріміз көп, соның бірі деп, бірегейі деп, біз Айғанымды айтуымызға болады. Айғаным өзінің Уәли ханның ханымы бола тұра, өзінің баласын, оның балаларын тәрбиелеуге үлес қосты.
Having been Uali Khan's lady, she contributed to foster her sons and grandsons' children. She was famous for republics. She had equal rights as an ambassador with Russian kings and received a pension from them. So she invited Kazakh people to sedentary. She is the humanist who showed a way to get education for her sons. Shingiz's children, her grandson and relatives' children. Ayxanim is the symbol of the first humanist granny.
Жолын көрсеткен мықты гуманист әжелеріміздің ең басында осы Айғаным тұруы керек.
Ayxanim is one of the kindest grannies among thousands. The first Kazakh scientist, Chokan Valekhanov, got an education from her school. There is some information about Ayxanim's granny in Chokan Valekhanov's selected collection. Chokan's granny is intellectual, far-sighted with a deep mind and a smart woman for her generation. She could speak several Eastern languages and paid great attention to Russian culture. She was respectful and authoritative among local people. This is the portrait of Honorable Ayganim.
Осы Айғанымның орны ерекше дейтінім, Айғаным
Ayganim was distinguished from other people because Ayganim was much more clever and far-sighted. It may have been because of her social position. Ayganim could speak several languages. She could negotiate with officials and authorities equally. She made the government invest for her country to build a school. She also contributed to building bathhouses and apartments. She made people move from yurts to live in apartments.
отырықшылыққа үндеп, мынау тұратын үйлерді салғызған, киіз үйден отырықшылыққа көшу үшін сөйтіп жүріп, ол бала тәрбиесіне ерекше мән бергендігін мектеп.
Her contribution for pastoral work is tracked in her contribution to build schools in which she was engaged in teaching the future generation, and one of the graduators of this school is the great Kazakh scientist Chokan Valikhanov. We say with confidence that he is Ayganim's fruit, that is the foundation of the first Kazakh National Granny School.
Жемісі көрсеткіші, басты көрсеткіші деп айтуымызға негіз бар.
Among considerate grannies after Ayganim, Zere plays an important role. Why? Because she was the grandmother of the great Kazakh poet and genius Abay. Our granny Zere was famous for the whole Tobukti tribe as an intelligent and wise granny. Village people called her Elder Granny. Our hero Baujan Momushali said, Zere and Uljan are not only Abay's mothers, but also of the whole Kazakh people. They were full of maternal feelings, who also could share people's problems and sadness. If our granny Zere was not so intellectual, such great poets as Abay would not have been born.
Бала емізген әйел ешқашан ұйқыға қанбайды ғой.
A woman who gives suck never gets enough sleep. Our granny Zere could manage children's sleeping time and praying time to Allah. She had perfect time management, so as a fruit of her work was her son Kunanbay. She was so disciplined that everyone in her family followed her instructions.
Емізу деген сөз бұл біздің Зере анамыздың, Зере әжеміздің соншалықты мықтылығын, өзін өзі тәртіпке көндіре білген тақуалығының жемісі Құнанбай болды. Ал енді Құнанбайдан туған Абай, Құнанбайдан да озып алға шығып.
Kunanbay's son, Abay, got ahead of her father because the Kazakh people's great genius is Zere's full contribution to become an individual. It seems to be Zere's initiative to support them to realize their individuality.
Көрінеді маған.
According to Kazakh traditions, the first grandchild becomes a grandmother's child. Grannies bring them up as their youngest child. They cherish them. They devote themselves to their grandchildren and give all their kindness, which they could not share with their kids. It is a tradition which comes from ancient times. It is still reflected today. A granny's lullaby is the best and most wonderful song in the world. It is full of customs and traditions. Granny's fairy tales are people's folklore. Granny's education is the nomadic Kazakh society's books, which has not been recorded and published. However, a school has been in people's minds since ancient times.
Қыз баланың табиғаты бұл бала тәрбиелеп, бала өсіруге арналған.
A girl's nature differs with her instinct to bring up children and their teachers from their birth, who can demonstrate effective results. They're experienced people. We can confidently say that experienced people and experienced teachers are our grannies. Just good people's generation can be nice.
Мықты нәтиже көрсететіндер кімдер? Тәжірибелі адамдар ғой өмірде де. Міне тәжірибелі адамдар, тәжірибелі педагогтар деп мен әжелерді айтқан болар едім. Я адам өзі жақсы болмайынша ұрпағының жақсы болуы қиын. Өзі жақсы болмайынша
To have a well-educated generation, you have to work on self-education. Experience comes with time. Why do we distinguish young mother's education from a granny's education? We say that granny's education is much more influential and higher. That is why Kazakh people support granny's education and continue this tradition.
Тәрбиесі ықпалдырақ, өтімдірек, ол жоғарырақ деп айтып жатамыз.
Granny is the mine of customs and traditions. We say it because she is the master of handicraft. There are no beautiful embroiders and thoughtful heritage than our grannies. Our experienced grannies knitted the most beautiful and magnificent blankets. They were also masters of cooking. This is the fruit of the mother's kindness and attention which brought to become a brilliant granny for grandchildren. On the one hand, when a person gets older in age, she or he has much experience to share and imbibed wisdom. That is why there is a saying in Kazakh literature, there is no one more precious than our grannies.
Қалмақ халқында бір Очер Жагаевна Мукаева деген
A Kalmyk scientist, Ocher Zhagaevna Mukayeva, introduced the staff Azhe, Kazakh word for grandmother, into kindergarten as a national pastoral working staff. It means the ministry accepted the achievement of national pedagogical science, and testing it again, it is a big achievement. There is also a staff Methodist in kindergartens. We also have qualified teachers who can open a separate staff. Their kindness and attention should be given to our kids. What does granny's education give to children? A child brought up by a granny is different. Grannies invest all their kindness for the kid. Grannies bring up children on their base of their life experience.
Әже тәрбиесі балаға не береді? Әже тәрбиесін мейірімге орап береді.
Not all women in their aging time deserves the name Azhe, or granny. The granny concept requires deep recognition. Firstly, her soul must be rich in accordance with her age. Must be a person who knows and applies the history, customs, and traditions. Granny is the person whose hands are full of kindness and love, which enables to transcend national heritage as customs and traditions from generation to generation. Granny is a wise person. Thus, the person who meets the aforementioned requirements deserves the name Az Azhe, a wise granny. There's a big secret of cherishing grandchildren. A child who is soaked up in love never gives up and becomes brave. This is one of Granny's pastoral strategies.
Әже қандай болу керек дегенде, кез келген әйел өзіне бір үлкен жауаптылықты алу.
I think any woman should take responsibility to become a good granny. I mentioned before that women are teachers by their nature. If every woman had a smart goal to become a big professor or wisdom in her old age, so a big problem would be solved. We would also be able to improve women's position. The first and most important pastoral tool is language. They ought to speak their mother tongue. Education should be given in the child's mother's tongue, like telling fairy tales, legends, and different stories, and discussing proverbs and so on. On the whole, Granny's liability is to give education in the child's native language. Granny's school is the first school which covers pros and cons of life, enables children to distinguish and separate good from bad. This is a big and great school. The School of Wisdom is considered to be our Granny's school.
Не дұрыс, не бұрыс, не адал, не арам, осы нәрсені құлағына құйып отыратын алғашқы мектеп.
If we want our culture and traditions to live long, our generation to be great, our grannies should remain as the main educator in the family. In this case, our grandchildren will be lucky, our boys will be inspired, our girls will be attractive, and the future of our generation will be bright. Let our grannies live forever.